Thank you very much. So we'll get straight into this. Marina, could you tell us a bit more about your most recent work in Mexico and some of the insights that you had there?
Well, yeah, I had an opportunity to spend 5 weeks in Mexico City documenting local skateboarders. So for 5 weeks, I was hanging out with them and getting to know their life and what they do. And yeah, it was a very interesting journey into world of skateboarding.
So skateboarders are quite an urban creature. I read a bit into what you were doing there, and you mentioned that there were some interesting environmental views that you were hearing from some of the skateboarders.
Yes, they were actually, yeah, it was a little bit surprising, but they were very concerned about environment and healthy lifestyle. So plastic pollution was number one topic every day. And also, yeah, eating less meat and just think about what you do.
So you're a photographer who's studied a range of subjects, and since we are here talking about clean technologies and kind of changing the society we live in so that it doesn't have such an impact, how do you think, or what, in your opinion, how can you use photography to kind of communicate the change that we need to see?
Well, in my work, I like to deconstruct things. So as in my cookbook that I did, I deconstructed recipes. So now in my future project, I will be deconstructing the topics that are related to the environmental issues, trying to open up the decision-making process. And this is how I will bring then the positive example for people to realize how important it is to kind of to take action.
And this cookbook sounds rather interesting. So what's it called, and how can people find your work?
Well, in Finnish it's called Silmänruoka. In English...
I was just about to say that. Okay, yeah, sorry. So what's it called?
So in English it's called Visual Recipes. So it's a cookbook which combines art and everyday cooking. So I also sell them as fine art prints.
Beautiful, and we can expect something environmental from you coming soon, but we're not meant to eat what's in the book, right?
Well, you never know.
You first. So, Åsa, we understand that you are working on a pretty big idea at the moment. Can you give us a 30-second breakdown of what you are working on?
A 30-second.
Yeah, good luck.
You can say that we're building a Disney 3.0 from Sweden.
3.0?
Yeah, if you look at Disney, they have a story in the middle. It could be Finding Nemo or Snow White. Are you following me? And
I'm with you.
then from the characters, it's going to be games, music, cinema films, editorial series, licensing products. Yeah, I think you got two very similar pieces of that here in Finland. Angry Birds and the Moomins, right? And so we're building that kind of body from Sweden right now, but it's going to be very tech-driven and value-driven.
Okay, this is a pretty big idea. Where do we fit the environment into this idea? Why is it so powerful, and how are you going to move that change with this approach?
I think, as I mentioned before, the power of storytelling is very, very important. If you look at the great storytellers, like the Bible or Shakespeare, it's a lot of drama, and then it's a lot of happiness as well. And obviously,
I haven't read them.
No, but if you look at modern storytelling, Avatar.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. That's a great one.
I mean, with a story, you create a relationship with somebody, and people start to follow the story as well. And I think it's really, really important that you can create a story that actually is a force for positive change. So that is what we're creating now.
Beautiful. Well, this was a rather short introduction to both of your work, but everybody in the audience, please feel free to talk to Åsa about her work. You are actually trying to raise money at the moment, right? You're looking for investors?
I do.
Ooh, look out. And if you want to learn how to cook with photography and art, talk to Marina. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.